comes to coaching track and field, Gerry Swan ranks highly, both domestically and within the Central American and Caribbean and Pan-American region. Among the long and distinguished list of athletes whose careers Mr. Swan helped shape are Commonwealth Games gold medalist Clarence Nicky Saunders and multiple IAAF World Championship medalist and IAAF World Champion and record holder Brian Bauman. Is he in the audience, Brian? Look at Brian. All cleaned up tonight.
The only Bermudian to date boasting IAAF Area Technical Official and IAAF Chief Coach certification. He has served as Technical Director and Technical Delegate at the Central American and Caribbean Cross Country Championships and Technical Delegate at the CAC Senior Track and Field Championships and North America, Central America, and Caribbean Under 23 Track and Field Championships. He has also served as Technical Director at the Caribbean Games and IAAF Area Technical Official at the Pan American Junior Championships.
Mr. Swan was a teacher, so he basically took the same, mentality or methodology which he learns as being a teacher into coaching, which was pretty cool compared to, all the great athletes from Bermuda, which he coached, Nicky Saunders, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, Troy Douglas, World Championship silver medalist, myself. We were made as students of the sport, so he just didn't regurgitate information to you, just didn't tell you to do A, B, and C, and didn't give you reasons why to do certain things. So it was more just than him dispensing information and telling you how to do things or what to do, but he made you think about what you were doing, or why you did what you did, and what the benefit of what you were doing was, so that you became a more intelligent athlete about what you did, so that the things when they did kind of come together, you understood better, comprehended better, and then bought into the situation more vehemently, simply due to the fact that you realized that, hey, I see why we do what we do.
As an athlete in his own right, Mr. Swan's list of achievements is just as impressive. He is the first Bermudian ever to clear 50 feet in triple jump, while his silver medal winning exploits at the CAC Senior Championships in 1973 made him the first Bermudian to stand on the podium at a senior international track and field meet. Mr. Swan won gold and silver medals at the prestigious Marine Relays in Virginia, as well as gold at the Florida Relays. He also won gold at the triple jump competition at a pre-Commonwealth Games meet and Canada Indoor Track and Field Championships. Mr. Swan also held the Alberta All-Comers indoor record in the triple jump. He was tri-provincial champion in Canada in long jump and triple jump in 1979 and ranked #1 in both disciplines during the indoor season. He was twice voted as the University of Alberta's most outstanding male track and field athlete.
Very demanding.
Yeah, expectations were high. You expect, when you set the bar, you'd be surprised most people will get up to the bar. Yeah, at least shoot at the bar and achieve the bar. So why set the bar low? You set the bar low, you get low results. Mr. Swan, in a lot of aspects of his life, not just coaching, expects the best. Wild student, I understand that. That's probably some of the principles, things that rubbed off on us also. It's like, if you're going to put your name next to it, that represent you, that you're proud of whatever that is. So they write my name down and they put a mark next to it, but that's representative of you, and you're proud of that. So, yeah, very demanding. You wouldn't expect any less.
Did it help also that his specialty, in your case, was in that sphere of jumping?
Yeah, it's a triple jump. I say I had maybe one or two legs up on my other two competitors Swan was triple jump specifically. And stuff. So he had, I guess, more of an insight as to my event. Maybe I was, a special project for him for things that he learned after he missed his prime that he now passed on to me. He was a young Bermuda coming along. Maybe instilled information that I now know into him, and that he can take it and run and see where we ended up, which is pretty good.
Outside of track and field, Mr. Swan played cricket and football for Devonshire Recreation Club and represented the Bermuda Football Union Select against Jamaican opposition. He was a member of Bermuda's Olympic squad.
Gerry Swan, come forward, please.
Need vision technology nowadays. I've had a few people tell me, keep it short.
Yes.
So I condense it from a 15-page to a 5-page. With protocol having been established, as my grandsons would say, this is awesome. This is great. Looking out at this illustrious gathering, and you are a beautiful group. And some of those tuxedos on you guys, I didn't recognize you. But it's an absolute thrill to stand before you this evening and accept this honor and be inducted into Bermuda Sports Hall of Fame. My journey as a coach has spanned a period slightly more than 1/4 of a century. I have enjoyed the support of various persons and would be highly remiss of me if I didn't mention to some of those persons. I heard Colin say this evening, I wrote it down, I was probably more nervous than playing the cup match. I went home on the track and feel very comfortable. And just to be sure, and try not to miss out on anyone or anything, I decided I better write down a few points, a few things. And in that journey of more than 25 years, as either coach or national coach of the Bermuda Track and Field Association, now called the Bermuda National Athletics Association, I had the assistance, volunteer assistance, of a few people along that path. I'd like to acknowledge them. Track and field is an individual sport, so when you're dealing with, when you're coaching a group of athletes in different disciplines, that in itself is demanding. Each athlete requiring his or her training program, at least that was my approach. Going to the stadium, there was no guessing what they had to be done. The athlete could look at the program, what's down in the session today. At the end of the session, I'd say, all right, you want to see what's on, what you have to do tomorrow or the rest of the week? They say no. Some of them would say no. I don't want to be spending the next day worrying about how I'm going to do this session the next day, right, Debbie? So as far as coaching and looking at the different venues, think back to the 1980s. The track was just being built, laying down the foundation toward the end of the 1980s. We had to use a 200-meter grass track to prepare for the 1987 Commonwealth Games. Those of you who can remember the layout of the National Stadium, used to play football, cricket, two-wicket competition, double-wicket competition. And remember where the cricket scoreboard used to be at the southwest side of the field? How many have memories as good as that? Some of you may not even be born back then. That's where that 200-meter track was in the late 1980s when they were laying the track. On one occasion, or I had permission to put down the track at the police field, so I went up there and measured out a 300-meter track. And in the late 1980s, I had the assistance of a gentleman by the name of Mr. Vernal Burns. He came out and said, "Listen, Jerry, I'd like to help you, even if it's a matter of just taking a watch, timing athletes. He used to run and enjoy it. I want to thank Mr. Burns for the assistance that he gave at that time." Following the assistance of Mr. Burns, and sometime later, I had the assistance of two other people, Mr. Roger Dill and Miss Sonia Showers. Yes, that's the same Roger Dill who's an international umpire. Both Sonia and Roger are certified IAAF coaches. And they gave up the time to help in that regard. In more recent years, I've had the assistance of a young man, a younger man. I'm a young guy. This guy is younger than me. It's Mr. Wayne Bean. In fact, he's one of my guests this evening. He's sitting at the table to my left over there. And I want to really thank Wayne. He's been a great assistance. He has the trust of the athletes. I also coach his two daughters, Alexis and Taylor Ashley Bean. I'm going to mention them a little later in a few minutes. So I want to thank them. Some of my other guests this evening are Mrs. Judith Simmons. She was a former president of the Bermuda Track and Field Association. And she had a tenure, president's tenure for 10 years, from 1996 to 2006. And in the early part of her tenure, and I'll share this with you, I had unwavering support from Mrs. Simmons as president in my position and capacity as the national coach of track and field. We had a very close contact. It was hardly a week or days that would pass when there wasn't some contact between us to address or talk about some issue pertaining to track and field, administratively, technically, coaching, etc. But I'm going to share something with you that very few people know. The association was having problems. It needed money. It was in debt. So what Mrs. Simmons did, with the support of her husband, she learned the Track and Field Association, Bermuda Track and Field Association, more than $100,000. Without that funding, it would have made it very difficult for some athletes to gain the experience and the exposure to international competition, such as at Correcto. And it also would have impacted on coaching, or the extent of people in the program that I work with. Further to that, this is a real serene and sincere position. She had made that arrangement in such a way that if the Bermuda Track and Field Association didn't raise the funds, she and her husband were prepared to write it off. Oh. But in 2004, with the resounding success that we had with the Carifta Games, it generated the kind of corporate sponsorship both within Bermuda and outside Bermuda, where the Bermuda Track and Field Association was able to repay Mr. and Mrs. Simmons, pay off all of its debts, and leave the association in its best ever healthy position with more than $200,000. That's Mrs. Simmons. Mrs. Simmons and her husband are not able to be here as my guests this evening. In their stead, I'm pleased to have their younger son, Damien, and his friend, Kiara Menini. Damien is one of my former 800-meter runners with a time of 1:53. All right, so Damien and Kiara, thank you very much for being here. I'd like to also introduce a few other people who played a very significant part, either directly or indirectly, in my journey as a coach for the sport. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of my mom, Mrs. June Swan, my brother Brian, his wife Sherry, my sister Velma, favorite sister. Forget that, otherwise I can't go to St. George's. And also Mr. Charles Jeffers. Mr. Jeffers is a founding member of the Bermuda Track and Field Association. He's also a friend, and he's been a business ally for more than 30 years. I would also like to recognize another founding member that I know of the association that is here, Mr. Earl Hart. One of my guests is an outstanding, young, talented athlete I coach. He's earned medals at the Caribbean Games. He's been a semifinalist, or was a semifinalist at the 2012 IAAF World Junior Championships. He was a finalist at the 2013 World University Games in Russia, and was an impressive 800-meter finalist at this year's Commonwealth Games. I'm pleased to have young athlete Mr. Shaquille Deal as my guest this evening. For over 25 years of coaching, occupies and has occupied a lot of time, usually in the evening, away from the family. And I'd like to give special recognition to my most immediate family. And I'd like to especially thank my wife Sharon, she's over there. And I'm really pleased to have my two sons who made the trip from the U.S. They live and work in the U.S., coming as far away as the state of Washington. They came here Friday, they'll leave tomorrow. I'm really pleased to have my sons, Gerry and Dubé. I'd like to pay a tribute to the athletes who have placed their confidence, their trust in me over all those years. The scores of athletes that I've coached over that period. And basically, certainly my presence here this evening would not be possible without the kind of performances that they have registered on a number of occasions over that period of time. I've coached athletes at just about, who've competed at just about every level of international competition. From the Carifta level, the lowest level of entry, or CAC Junior Track and Field Championships, up to the Olympic Games. And those competitions in between, such as the CAC Senior Championships, the Pan American Games, the Commonwealth Games, IWF World Youth Championships, the IWF World Open Championships. And most of those students, sorry, my teacher friend, going back to what Gerry said, most of the athletes I coach who competed at the higher levels would have had their foundation at Carifta Games. So I'd like to very quickly, go through it. The first 6 years of my coaching, my specific coaching area of responsibility was with the jumpers. And then after that, I was coaching athletes and all the other athletic disciplines. So I'm just going to call off the names with those athletes who earned medals quickly. I've been prompted here at Carifta. In the 1980s, Nikki Saunders, Troy Glasgow, Some of you folks may not even remember these people. Romano Ramirez, Lawrence Stewart, Edna Mae Tuzo, Darrell Walden, William Bill Trott, Paula Burchell, Brian Wellman, Zorai Samuels, Jerome Robinson, Sherry-Lynn Painter. In the 1990s, these are just people who earned medals. In the 1990s, medals include, I'm pleased to see her this evening. Her son was up here earlier. Patrice Scotland, Sharice King Bean, Fred Lottymore, Loretta Burrows, Stephen Woodley, Rohan Simons, Devon Bean, Sharif Taylor, Michael Donowa, Dante Hunt, Vernay Ingham, Aaron Bean, Tariq Huey, Latanya Dickinson, Vernika Bean, Stacy Babb, Richard Walcott. And in the first decade of 2000, Brittany Marshall, Danielle Watson, Zinzi Swan, Tiffany Atherton, Latoya Darrell, LaVince Toda, Tajon Talbot, Cody Lima, Jay Darrell, Keyshawn Wilkinson, Matthew Spring, Aaron Evans, Alexis Bean, Akila Richardson, Taylor Ashley Bean, Henry Stevens Carney, Shaquille Deal. Those athletes earned over 140 medals. 40 of which were gold medals. And I'd like to close with two statements. A few weeks ago when I became aware that I would possibly, I was told it was a short list. So I wasn't sure whether I was going to be up here or not going to be up here. I sent an email to some of the athletes I coached, and I received a number of congratulatory comments. I'm going to share just two with you, then I'll finish. One I'll read from a female athlete, the other from a male. First, the female. I would like to congratulate you on your recent nomination. I know that this has to be amongst the numerous highlights of your career in athletics. No one can ever say that you were handed this accolade. This is something that you have truly earned and deserve. I would have loved to be in attendance at this event to show my support, but unfortunately, I will still be in school at the time. My spirit will definitely be there with you that night. And the final quote, it says, "Congratulations to one of the best coaches in the world. I owe a great deal of gratitude to you, as you have impacted my life from a young boy to the man I am today. I have learned a great deal from your teachings along the way. Self-discipline, hard work, the importance of education, and integrity are just a few aspects of life you taught me along the way. You truly deserve this award and more, and I'm proud to call you my coach, mentor, and friend." Mr. Premier, Mr. Richardson, other members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen, family, friends, thank you very much for this honor.
So, Dr. Saul, Robert Horton, Kenneth Howard Randolph Horton, and all the rest of the teachers in the house understand. He's a teacher. My friend Gerry Swan. So then, there's a voice of summer in the making. And then there's one. So we bring forward Sean Tucker.